Dave Helman, you cover the Cowboys for 10 years. You've been at every single Cowboys game leading up to this season, every single one of them. You know more about the Cowboys than anybody on television. So you tell the world, do the Cowboys need Odell Beckham Jr. to win a Super Bowl?
Why do we have to do the most like this, man? Why? Why can't the question be, could Odell Beckham help the Cowboys? Because, yeah, he could. Odell Beckham could absolutely help the Cowboys. Super Bowl?
Yes.
The Cowboys are quietly lying in the cut, looking pretty good with no drama, and we got to do this. Why?
No drama.
Cowboys haven't been in the NFC Championship game since the Clinton administration.
Ooh, tell it.
There's a lot of stuff that they need to get them to a Super Bowl besides Odell Beckham, who, look, I love the guy. I went to LSU. That's my dude. I would love to see him wearing the Cowboys star, but he's a 30-year-old receiver coming off of a second ACL tear. I got questions. I think he could help. There's two units on the Cowboys offense that need help. Offensive line, receiver. Offensive line is scheduled to get some help when Tyron Smith comes back from injury. That's huge. Receiver, this is nice.
That's it.
This is
You said two units.
But Super Bowl? But Super Bowl.
Here's my thing.
Like,
Dave.
you just let the Cowboys kind of quietly do their thing,
If
man.
you get Tyron Smith back, who should be a Hall of Famer, if not first ballot, he had injuries. The Cowboys will get Tyron Smith back in December, I believe mid-December. And if you can add Odell Beckham, you said they need two help spots. Offensive line, wide receiver. Odell Beckham, Tyron Smith. You're telling me what would stop them?
I want to, here in the A block of a national TV show, I also just want to say, put some respect on Michael Gallup's name. He's a pretty damn good receiver in his own right, just for the record, sir. But
gloss over
absolutely. He hates me right now. It's fine. Here's the thing. Clearly, I'm stealing Joey's bit a little bit here, but like there's so many things stopping the Cowboys from being in the Super Bowl. Otherwise, it would have happened by now. Like they haven't even gotten to the game before the Super Bowl. And I think there are intrinsic qualities that go into that, to be honest. Part of it being we're sitting here talking about the Cowboys getting to the Super Bowl in November. Like stuff like that matters. It really does. Look, I mean, there's two teams keeping company with the Cowboys when you're talking about not even being to an NFC title game in recent memory. It's Detroit and it's Washington. That's the company that the Cowboys keep. And I'm not trying to hate on the Cowboys.
You are, but
But
it's a good
acting
thing. I like it.
like adding Odell Beckham is going to be some cure-all. This isn't the Rams from a few years ago. You're like, oh, the Rams offense stalled out in the Super Bowl. They went and got Stafford and it put him over the top. The Cowboys have so much more to prove that they can get to that stage. Do I think Odell Beckham would help? Absolutely, and I would be so excited to see it. I got an LSU tattoo like Shady likes to remind me every day.
Show the people.
I can show it today.
Show the people.
I can show it today.
Take the shot.
I can show it today, yeah.
Thank you.
Odell, baby.
Odell, please come to Dallas. But I just can't sit here and say it's going to put him in the Super Bowl.
Do the Cowboys need Odell to get to a Super Bowl 2-5?
I like this from you, Dave. Finally, he started to tell the truth. He said Super Bowl and the Cowboys. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, I think it helps them out to win a Super Bowl. I truly do. When I look at the Cowboys, and it hurts to say this, but when I look at the Cowboys, they are a contender right now. I think they have a solid defense. They get after the quarterback. They create turnovers. They can run the ball. They have an okay quarterback that can win games.
Okay,
right?
quarterback.
And I said before with the trade deadline, they need a wide receiver. They need somebody else. I know you love Gallup, but, I mean, he's just getting back from injury. He hasn't looked that great yet.
Odell's just getting back from injury.
So that's the thing. Now, the thing about Odell Beckham is, which one are we getting? This is his second ACL injury, right? On the same knee. And he's 30 years old, and he hasn't been playing. I've seen videos of him. I see pictures of him. He looks a lot bigger. You know, you typically want to lose a little weight when you come off injury. So I don't know. It depends what type of Odell we're getting, but I think he also can help out.
I actually love it. One, because it's anarchy, and I'm all for the Cowboys and anarchy.
Chaos.
But I would disagree that he would be the number two. And that's actually why I think it would work and it would help. He wouldn't be the number two, and you shouldn't rely on him to be the number two. I think what people gloss over when they look at the success that Odell had with the Rams last year was that they didn't need to rely on Odell for volume.
That's right.
He could show up in moments, which relieved a lot of pressure on him. He didn't have to walk in, and you got Cooper Kupp catching every ball. Yeah. So you can distract everybody with Cooper and then throw it to Odell. And it worked out perfectly. He fit perfectly into their schemes, into their offense. It was the absolute perfect match. If you do that in Dallas, I do think Odell will be successful because, to your points, he's not the same guy anymore, and that's okay. He's had these injuries, so adjust your game. And the Rams smartly put him in spaces where he could be successful. And that's why he was so crucial to them last year. And that's why he was successful in the Super Bowl up until, of course, he got injured. So if you put him in a space where you don't have to rely on him for volume, you rely on him for moments, you don't put too much on his plate as he is coming back from injury and probably isn't in the best shape because it's a lower extremity injury, then I think he can be successful and actually help. We're talking about adding depth to that position group, which we thought they were going to do at the trade deadline. They didn't. This is actually, I think, a very smart move for Dallas. If they do it correctly, and I wouldn't put him as the number 2.
Now, you're saying it's smart, but I'm saying Super Bowl competitive, Super Bowl competitor. Like, does an Odell Beckham, because to me, I can never doubt Odell, right? Odell, we saw him his rookie year when we were in Philly. He went crazy. Odell Beckham tears his ACL. He comes back. He goes crazy. Odell Beckham goes to the Rams, and in a few short time, he goes crazy. Even if Odell is coming back from an injury, he has proven to us time and time again he has the ability to be a beast. Can a talent like Odell, in your mind, put the Cowboys over the hump?
Yeah, but beast how? Like, he had 2 catches in the Super Bowl for 52 yards and a touchdown, but it's not like he had 10 catches for 110 yards or something. Like, he is a beast in moments, and that's why he was successful. And really even had 5 touchdowns and 27 receptions for the Rams throughout the season.
Right.
So he's not a volume guy at this point in his career, and he shouldn't be. And the Rams were smart enough, because Sean McVay is a smart coach, to know not to have to put him in that position. And they didn't have to because they had the luxury of Cooper Kupp. Well, so do the Cowboys. Whatever you think of Gallup, I agree with Dave. He should be the number 2, and CD should be the number 1. And then you have Odell with his extreme talent in moments. So beast, to me, is a guy like Cooper Kupp or a guy like Tyreek Hill that is just gobbling up all these catches and these yards, and you're relying on time and time again, week and week after week. Well, they can do that right now. But Odell is coming off of 2 major injuries. So you've got to be more careful with him. And if you put him in the right spots, he can be very effective and useful. As far as the Super Bowl, again, the Cowboys have done nothing to get the benefit of the doubt. Remember, the Rams were in the Super Bowl a few years ago before they added Stafford. So they deserve that respect.
Exactly.
They did that with Jared Goff. And then that wasn't good enough, so they brought in Matthew Stafford. The Cowboys haven't done that. I do think that this is a great ad for the depth questions that we had for them. Super Bowl, sure. I mean, what does that mean?
Give him what he wants.
Yeah.
But, Dave, here's what's fascinating to me. We say it as if we haven't seen the Bengals do it last year. The Bengals go on a run with a much more horrendous organization, historically speaking, and a quarterback that wasn't as proven as Dak Prescott, though obviously I think Joe Burrow is better. We've seen other organizations do it. The Atlanta Falcons, when they went to the Super Bowl with Matt Ryan, it's not like the Atlanta Falcons had a ton of historical success. Had some fun years, Warwick Dunn, Mike Vick, but didn't have like some Super Bowl caliber years.
Right.
Why so much doubt? Even the Dolphins. We're putting the Dolphins capable of winning a Super Bowl, and we know the Dolphins ain't won a playoff game in God knows how long. So why so much doubt with these Cowboys, particularly if you're adding an Odell?
You were with me, man. You've been in Dallas. You're from Dallas. You get it. Guess what we weren't doing with the Bengals last year at this time? Talking about anything with them being relevant. They were a forgettable 4 seed. Like, we weren't even really talking about them. They beat the Chiefs at the end of the regular season. I'll give them that. And that is when it kind of started rolling. But before that, they were trading wins and losses. They were chilling in the cut, which is what I would love for the Cowboys to be able to do so that maybe they can build some of that momentum. Because what happens with the Cowboys, I firmly believe this, what happens with the Cowboys is the eyeballs that they draw, it builds itself into its own like snowball effect. And that's what you're talking about when you're saying, would this put them in the Super Bowl? Come on, man. 26 years, like, you got to do a little bit more.
That's right.
I do think it adds to the depth. It gives them a playmaker who can make plays in favorable coverage. And I'll meet you here. How about this? Because clearly the word Super Bowl scares the hell out of me. If they were to add Odell Beckham and he's fully healthy and can play like even the guy that he was for the Rams, you can't say anybody in the NFC has a better roster going forward. Like, I mean, you could argue, but like not definitively. No,
Right.
Like the Cowboys are right up there with 49ers, Eagles, any of those teams. Absolutely they are.
See, I don't want to change the subject.
Please, do what you need.
So if you add Odell to the Cowboys roster, Say that one more time. I didn't hear you.
And throw in Tyron Smith coming back as well. Yeah.
Okay, throw him in there.
Two of the 5 most important positions in football.
What are you saying? You said that
I'm saying you can't say that they're definitively worse than any of the other NFC contenders based on what we see.
That's a nice way to say it. But they don't have the best roster.
That's not what I said.
He's saying arguably.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just saying they're in that conversation.
I ain't arguing. I know what the best roster is.
Let me ask you this, 2-5, real quick before we got to get out of here. The Cowboys, it's not talent that's keeping them from a Super Bowl. It is not quarterback, I don't think, that's keeping them from a Super Bowl. It won't be the defense that's keeping them from a Super Bowl. It's kind of this, like, superfluous attention. They have too much attention, so they can't get there. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave.
Yes.
Too much attention.
That matters.
You're a man with who's had a lot of attention, particularly during his playing career. How does that matter? Does that actually matter? How does that impact you when everybody's now like, LeSean McCoy is a man versus LeSean McCoy just being a hidden somebody?
Yeah, I don't like that. Like, I'm hiding from success. I'm hiding from the spotlight. I never play with players like that. All the top players I play with, the superstar guys, the Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Tom Brady, Mike Vick, Deshaun Jackson, we love the spotlight. Don't hide me. Show me. World, I'm here. I don't know what them dudes in Dallas is doing, so I don't know. I don't know what they doing. We like the spotlight.
It's fascinating to me, Dave.
man.
We got to talk more about that one.
But
It's scary.
It's not the players.
Them dudes are scary, man.
It ain't the players.
It's the owner.
It's the
I love that owner, though.
Oh, we all love Jerry. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.